Hey guys, and welcome to 2014. As you may have surmised, this is another early morning video, so keeping the voice down. It's like 6 o'clock, but at least I'm more awake this time than I was on the last one, so that'll probably help some. So, I actually meant to make this on the 1st. See, I already have to think about what day it is, but no, I had legit reason why I didn't get around to it, because I'd been planning it all day, and then, like, my grandpa kind of had, like, a minor medical emergency, so that kind of shot doing anything out of the water, since we had to attend to that first, because real life comes first before internet, so I had to do that. And then yesterday I didn't really have a good excuse. Yesterday kind of just fell asleep early, so there's that, so I'm doing it now. And yeah, I didn't get around to doing like a New Year's Eve one either, just for lack of having anything interesting to say, and didn't really have anything to like show for it. Oh my god, my phone's exploding, what the hell. But no, we didn't go anywhere this year. It was just like really quiet. I mean, normally we stick around here anyway because New Year's Eve is my brother's birthday, but it was weird this year because it was the first year we ever didn't spend it with him because he went to Monterey with his family. So yeah, and I'm sure he had way better time there than we did here because it was all uneventful. Like, everyone but me is sick. Knock on wood. Yeah, I'm doing my best not to catch it. I just have a sniffly nose because the heater's been on, and it always messes with me. But yeah, so far so good, so fingers crossed that I don't get sick. My birthday's in a few days, and I do not want to be sick on my birthday. Thank you very much. But yeah, so New Year's Eve was pretty quiet. I figured I would just like watch movies and stay up till midnight, and I kind of crashed by like 9 or 10 at night. You know when I woke up? 12:01. 12:01. I missed it by 1 minute. I was so pissed. I was like, oh my gosh, seriously right now? I mean, I had laid down because I figured maybe I'll do like the power nap route and take like a 15-minute nap and then be good to go for the rest of the night, because a lot of times that works for me. Yeah, I forgot to turn up the volume on my phone for the alarm I set, and I slept through it, and I woke up at 12:01 apparently. I mean, this kind of happened a few years ago too, and I woke up at like 12:10 or 12:15. I was pissed enough over that by missing it that close, but 12:01, that's just a slap in the face at that point. And my grandpa was like being all loud downstairs, so I didn't want to just like wander down there after, you know, everything had gone on, and then have him be like, well, where the hell have you been? And then make fun of me for falling asleep earlier than anybody, and the fact that he's 95 and he stays up later than I do. Yeah, just didn't want to deal with it, so I waited till the next morning to have a glass of bubbly. So apparently because everybody's sick, they only went through 1 bottle of it instead of 2, so I think we're just keeping the 2nd bottle for my birthday. Could be, I don't know, that'd be nice. It's not even like real champagne, it's just Asti. It's not as strong because, yeah, I'm a wuss, so there's that. So that was New Year's Eve. New Year's Day wasn't much more eventful because, again, everybody was sick, so, yeah. So that was that. I did, however, make one of those 2014 goals list. I do not like the word resolutions, because resolution insinuates that you're trying to solve a problem, and not everybody wants to make goals for the sole sake of solving problems. They just want to have goals for the year. They don't have to be big, life-changing, reaffirming things. I mean, they can be if you want them to be, but not all of us want that kind of pressure. Some of us just want easier things, because I found, I don't know if you guys are this way too, or if it's just me, but I found if I use the term resolution, I bail by like day 2 or 3, and that's it. I don't know why this is, yet if I just refer to it as goals, I seem to be fine. I don't know what the hell the difference is just by giving it a different word, even though it's the same thing. I mean, I guess the other difference is that mine aren't nearly as big or as important as other people's. Mine read like a to-do list. Like, most people would be like, Jennifer, those aren't even, like, New Year's goals. Those are things you could do anytime. I'm like, yeah, but they're things I want to do, so why shouldn't they be on it? So, I mean, there's nothing like climbing Mount Everest or any big things like that on there, because I know that's unrealistic, and that's more like bucket list stuff where I'm concerned, because, I mean, I don't have a way of making them happen as of right now, so, yeah, I don't have anything big like that. Things that I can actually do and have a shot of making happen go on the list, because otherwise I'm setting myself up for failure. So, there's that. But yeah, mine totally do just read like a to-do list. And I'm sure the rest of you think that's stupid, but I don't really care what anybody else thinks, because it's my list, and my list of things to do. So, yeah. Since I'm gonna be the one doing them, I think it only really matters to me. So, but yeah, mine's boring. I won't read all of them, but I'll read some of them. It's basically things like clean my bedroom and bathroom and keep them that way. Yeah, my room has been a wreck for the better part of a year straight at this point. I need to get on that shit. My bathroom doesn't look much better, not because of, like, dirtiness, because I'm a germaphobe. That part, not a problem. It's more a problem of, like, laundry building up and spilling out over the top of the hampers onto the floor and taking up the majority of the floor, and I need to seriously get on that. So, that is first on the list, underlined about 5 times, highlighted. Yeah, I kind of really need to do that one. Even if I do nothing else on this list, that one needs to happen, because I don't even feel comfortable letting people in here at this point, and that's just ridiculous. So, 2 is finish the unfinished projects, some of which are newish ones that, yeah, no shit, I'm gonna finish those. Other ones have been in progress for years, and I kind of put down and never came back to, and they need to be finished so they don't just stay a pile of unfinished things. I like actually finishing them, so I don't have this big looming thing in the back of my mind every time I start another project of, why start another thing when you have all this other stuff that's unfinished? And yeah, so I mean, there's that Friend Ginger cross-stitch thing that I started like 3 years ago, and yeah, definitely need to see if I can finish that one this year. It's a huge, massive undertaking, so I don't know if I can even realistically do it in a year, but I'm gonna try to. So, because it's not even for me, that's for one of my best friends, so that was supposed to be her birthday present a couple of years ago. I feel so bad that it's not done yet. And I mean, she understands, because right around the time I started that, she decided she was going to take up cross-stitching, and she kind of took on a way bigger project than I did. Hers is like tapestry sized, and it's her first ever one. Best case scenario, I'm like guesstimating if you worked on it non-freaking stop all day, every single day, maybe 5 or 6 years, you could finish that thing. Realistically working on it, yeah, it's just a massive undertaking. It should probably have more than one person working on it. But that's hers. Mine is luckily not that big. It's like standard portrait size, so I mean, it's a good size, and it's pretty small stitches, so I mean, yeah, it's really time consuming, but I mean, it's doable. I just have to sit my ass down and do it. So there's that one. I have to finish the cross stitch of the tractor for my dad, which luckily isn't that massive of an undertaking. It's just, again, sitting my butt down and doing it. I got a lot of it done last year, and if I had actually stayed on task and just focused on one thing, it would have been done a long time ago. I started it like 2 years ago. It's a really basic design. It was even a kit design. I mean, there's no reason this one shouldn't be finished by now. And I feel stupid for not finishing it, so. I've got the one with the Glee logo I need to finish. I have 3 of the 4 letters done. That's something. I mean, that one, I mean, I think everybody kind of understands why I didn't finish that one, because when I first started a few years ago, like one and only day I worked on it was up at my grandma's house. And it was the first time I worked with slippery embroidery floss. And I got so pissed off at it that I decided after that day, fuck this thing, I'll worry about it later. Chucked it in a bag under my bed, didn't think about it till last September. And I pulled it out one day and was like, oh yeah, I should finish that. And no sooner had I like gotten everything laid out, we got the phone call that my grandma died. Given the only time I had worked on it before that had been at her house, it just to me kind of spoke volumes that, okay, I need to finish this, given that that was the only time I worked on it. Next time I touch it, then that happens. Yeah, I really just need to get this done now. So I barreled through the majority of it. I had like maybe like part of the G done at that point. Yeah, I got through 3 of the letters. It was very time consuming just getting those done, but yeah, I just have to finish that up. And yeah, it shouldn't be that major of an undertaking. Maybe like another week and it'll be done. I just have to actually devote the time to it. So I've got the princess cross stitch, which I don't think I even like ever showed anybody. Yeah, that one is so small, it is really stupid I didn't finish it. That was, originally I bought it thinking I was gonna give it to one of my nieces, but then the more thought I gave to it, I figured I'm gonna keep that for me and put it on my bedroom door, even though it's totally a little girl design and I don't even care. Because my nickname all growing up was, and still is, Princess. And the sign says, the princess sleeps here, and it's got like a fairy wand and sparkles and fabulosity all over it, and I like it, so I'm gonna keep it, but I have to finish it so I can put it on my door. The problem with putting anything on my door is that Kimberly usually comes by and defaces anything I put on that door. She destroyed one of my Lives of the Palace things I had on that door with a Sharpie. So I'm gonna have to like probably frame this and put it up there, so if she like tries to do that again, I can just wipe it off the glass rather than have it be on the fabric itself and be ruined forever, because that would suck. So I also have to finish my Liza beaded portrait, which again I just have to sit down and do because I'm in the last little freaking home stretch at the very top of it. It's almost done. Probably 1 or 2 more days of working on it. It'd be done. Why I haven't just sat down and done it yet, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, there's that. I have to finish the lace blanket. Oh my gosh, that one actually should probably be right near the top of the list, because I've had it on a blocking mat on my floor, taking up about 3 or 4 feet of my floor since like April. Yeah. I kind of would like my floor back, needless to say. So I kind of have to finish seaming up the last seam. I'm like 3/4 of the way done with that, and then I just have to like sew on the top and bottom, or not sew on, I have to knit them on the top and bottom borders, and it'll be done. That's it. If I just did that, I could have my floor back. It's common sense. Why have I not done this? I don't even know. So I need to sit down, I need to do that, and reclaim my floor. Because that is a big part of why I can't, like, do singing videos in my usual spot. Is why I can't do videos, period, in my usual spot. Because the floor is taken and I can't even stand there. And yeah, if I ever have any shot at doing singing videos again, I kind of need that spot again. So, I mean, I suppose I could just do webcam filming and do them right here, but that'd be boring. I mean, it'd be better than nothing, but yeah, there's that. The slippers. Oh my god, the crocheted slippers from like 2 years ago. These would have been like a 2-day project. Do you know how close I have them to done, but never just finished the last little bit? I don't know why. Sewing on the last button. That's it. One little button, they'd be done. I'd be wearing them right now. Why have I not just done it? I don't know. That'd probably be like the quickest thing on here to finish. It'd take me, what, like 5 minutes, if even? Probably not even that. They'd be done. I'm stupid. Likewise, the baby booties that go with the gift set that I'm gonna list in my Etsy store. I finished one. The second one I did too big and unraveled, and I still need to redo, and would take me like maybe an hour tops to do. I don't think it even took me that long to do the first one. Again, it's just a matter of sitting down and doing it. but I don't have the best track record with that, so gotta do that. I gotta finish my sweater that I started in like November. I got the one sleeve done, even though I fucked up the cuff on it and did too tight of a bind off, so I have a really hard time getting my hand through it. I'm still trying to figure out how to fix that. I'm hoping maybe once it's blocked it'll help, but I have a bad feeling it's not gonna, so I'm trying to figure out if maybe I should just do the extra stretchy bind off and call it a day. And then I just have to do the other sleeve, and there's like a little border that goes around from one edge around down the other of the front that has like the buttonholes and the button band on it. I guess that's probably what it's called, is the button band and the collar. Yeah, which probably not that big an undertaking. It just is another of those things I have to sit my ass down and do it. So gotta do that because I'd kind of like to wear it. It's been sitting on my bed for 2 months, and not only would I like to wear it, I kind of like to reclaim that side of my bed. Oh gosh, the flower tote bag. So right after I started crocheting, I did my patchwork bag. I did the beach trolley thing that you sit on. I can't think of what it's even actually called, but yeah, it's a thing you sit on the ground to keep your butt clean so you're not on the dirt or the sand or wherever you take it to. I did that. I did a little miniature backpack with flowers on it, and then to match the backpack, I started a flowered tote bag, which was going to be really cute, and I got one side of it done. I got about 1.5 patches of the second side done and kind of bailed. I'm not sure why. It's not like it's even a hard pattern. It's just one of those things I set down and started doing something else and never came back to, so since I'd kind of like to be able to use that, I mean, I don't think it's strong enough to use as like a library bag, since I keep worrying I'm gonna break my heavy-duty NaNoWriMo bag with that. Yeah, I don't want to do it on a handmade, where if it ruins it, I'm gonna be really pissed, so. But it'd be really convenient for other stuff, and it's cute. I mean, it's all hippie-ish and 70s, 60s looking, so it's awesome. I just need to finish it so I can use it. Yeah, I gotta do that. My Eliza Afghan. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I started thinking I was going to have it done in time for her birthday last year. It's a crocheted blanket with like a portrait of Liza on it. It's huge, but it's awesome. And I'm like proud of the way it's coming out. And then one day my dog puked on it. And I cleaned it, but just in the back of my mind had this block of, ew, my dog threw up on this, and even though it's clean now and has been sterilized, that is really friggin' gross. I don't want to touch it. I watched it again, trying to get over that mental block, but kind of, yeah, never really got back around to working on it again. And I'm like, if I finished it, I could probably run it through the washer and dryer to really sterilize it, but I have to finish it first to do that. But, I mean, I really would like to finish that too. If I started working on it now, maybe I could have it done by her birthday this year, and I mean, best case scenario, if I take a picture of it, should I somehow, someway, get backstage at the show in March, maybe I could show her the picture of it, which I'm sure would probably get me deemed as crazy. I don't know, but I think maybe she'd get a kick out of it. I don't know, but if nothing else, I'd probably post it to her Facebook page or something, so maybe that'd be better. Just put it on there. But, yeah. Stripey blanket. Yeah, that one is a commission. That one's actually getting done. I've been working on that one daily, so that one's not even a problem, but it is unfinished, so it's on the list. That one will probably be done in like a week or two, honestly, so I'm not too worried about that one. The lace gloves, oh my god. Yeah, another one of the very first things I ever started knitting. I started knitting a few years ago, but didn't finish. I was making multiple pairs of lacy gloves like the ones Liza wears in Cabaret, thinking that I was going to sell them in my Etsy shop. Well, I never got around to finishing them. I finished like 2 pairs and half a glove of a third or something. So, I mean, yeah, that's kind of a problem. I kind of need to finish those. Yeah. that. And I like bought all this yarn in that yarn weight to make them in different colors. And then I didn't get around to making any of them but the black ones. So I still have like this box of like, it's intended to be sock yarn, but I haven't done socks yet, so the only thing I've ever used that kind of yarn for is these gloves. So I kind of want to just use them for the gloves and then list them and try to make some money off of them, because they're actually pretty cool if I could just get enough pairs of them made to sell. So yeah, that. Oh yeah, the fruit trivets and pot holders. Or trivets. I keep saying trivets, thinking it's a French word, but apparently it's trivets. Yeah, I got the watermelon ones done, I got the lime ones done, I got halfway through an orange and stopped. I have a bucket of yarn I have to work my way through for these that need to get made and listed, because my dad is going to kick my ass that I got that much yarn for this. If I don't use it, yeah, I'm in trouble, so yeah, that is basically the agreement, that he'll get my supplies if I actually use them up. So I have to use them up. So I have to finish those and get them listed. He doesn't really care if they sell or not, just I have to use them if I'm gonna get them. So yeah, I've got to finish those. I mean, worst part is it's not even like it's that much work that gets put into those. It's kind of like one of those one-day project things, aside from the blocking part of it. It's not even that hard. I just have to, again, sit down and do it. Again, I don't have the best track record with that. Oh, the red hat. This one, I mean, I didn't finish it for two reasons. I didn't finish it because I basically did, except for weaving in the ends, but just really was not that satisfied with how it came out. I was hoping to have like a big floppy French looking beret, but didn't really pan out. It looks more like a chef's hat at best. I don't really know what it looks like, but it doesn't look like a beret, and that makes me sad. But I even did it in red, in like my grandma's favorite shade of red, and I was like racing to finish it because I wanted to wear it over to my uncle's house on his birthday to show it off to her and be like, look what I made, I even did it in your color. Didn't finish it in time to go over there. By the time I did finish it, she died. So then I didn't really want to bother weaving in the ends to like really finish it, because it was like, well, what's the point now? I kind of really made it with her in mind, now she can't see it, so what the hell's the point? But on the other hand, it is kind of a tribute-y type thing, so I should finish that, and it's sitting on my little side table, so I should probably finish it and put it with my other hats so I can free up more room. So there's that. There is the My Little Pony coasters. That's another thing that's going in my shop. I got half of them made. Well, actually, given the second set, I guess I've only done about a fourth of them, but I got 3 done. There's 6 total for both versions of them. But I like ran out of beads like halfway through and didn't even have the right colors for some of them to even start with, because the 22,000 buckets of perler beads, apparently some of the colors don't come in that, and you have to get them separate. So I ordered them separate, and they actually came last night. So yeah, I really have no excuse now for not finishing those. I just have to do it. Which again, those aren't even a one-day project. Those are like a 1-hour project. So yeah, I just gotta do that. That's probably another one of the ones that I'll probably go to first, just because it's quick and easy, and I'll be like, hey, look, I did something on my list, yay me! And yeah, that. The record pillow. Okay, so another one of, this was the thing that made me want to learn to crochet in the first place. I saw a pattern for a pillow that looks like a vinyl record, and is freaking adorable. However, it seems to be my Achilles heel in crocheting for working circles or working in the round. Don't know why. It either bunches up in like ripples, or I fuck it up and there's holes in it, or I screw up and it just doesn't line up right. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Even following it as closely as I possibly humanly can, I seem to get it wrong every damn time. Especially working with black yarn, that makes it really hard to keep track of the stitches because you can't see them really well. So, I mean, that doesn't help at all. But that one pisses me off because actually I spent my own money on that yarn because it was really expensive yarn that is out of production. I spent about 20 bucks a skein for that, and it took like 3 or 4 to get enough to even make this, just to find out that I'm apparently too retarded to make it right. No, screw that. I want to figure out what I'm doing wrong so I can do it right and make that pillow. I want to make like 3 of them because I saw one person that did this, made those pillows, and they embroidered like different titles of bands and album titles on them. I was like, oh my god, I can do Beatle ones, it'd be so cute. Or I could do like a Beatles one, a Who one, and a Monkees one, and they'd be just, oh my gosh, they'd be so cute. But I have to figure out how to freaking do it right before I can do that, and just, it's like pissing me off so bad that is like my biggest failure so far in crafting, has been that pillow, and that I've taken it apart and redone it so many fucking times now and can't figure out what I'm doing wrong. I think I might take it apart again and try a different hook size, because that may be my problem. I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna see if I can do that this year. Get that pillow made, because that pisses me off that that one has not happened yet, because I think that's the most expensive yarn I've ever bought, was for that, and it didn't even pan out, and yeah, it needs to pan out. The amigurumi fruit set. Oh gosh, that was one of the first things I ever started knitting. I got an apple done. Actually 2 apples, because my nephew wanted one. May have to do a third, because I think he kind of destroyed his, and he was like really, really weirdly attached to it, and he's all devastated that now it looks more like a tomato than an apple, because it's been through the washing machine so many times, and squished, and all sorts of things, and it's kind of lost its shape. Yeah, I should probably just make him a new one at this point, but I got those 2 apples done. I got a pear done, which ended up looking more like a squash because I apparently didn't stuff it enough, and yeah, it looks more like a squash than a pear. So, yeah, I suppose if you put them all in a bowl just to let kids play with it, it wouldn't really matter which it's supposed to be, so they can just pretend it's food. They can decide what it's supposed to be. I got a lime, or no, I got a lemon done. I was gonna do a lime, and then I never got around to doing it, because there was supposed to also be a lime, there was supposed to be a peach, there was supposed to be a banana, there was supposed to be, I don't remember what else. I'd have to see the page again, but there was like this whole list of different things. They were all free patterns, but they were freaking adorable. I thought, well, that'd be cool, because I mean, we've got all like these kids' toys for my nieces and nephews to play with when they're over here, but how cool would it be, like, just for their imaginative play, to go with like the kitchen toy sets, to have some like amigurumi fruit in there? I thought that'd be really cool, but I never finished the set. And if I wait too long, they're gonna grow up and be beyond that age, and yeah, I should get on that if I'm gonna do that. I mean, I realize that my sister keeps popping out kids, so this probably isn't too dire a fear, since she's gonna have little ones for a while, but, and then my brother's fiance, wife, whatever, I don't know what to refer to her as right now currently, wants to have a kid, like, as soon as they're married, and they're getting married in, like, May, so there'll be yet another one, but who knows how much they'll actually be here, since they barely come over anymore. But, regardless, there will be kids around to play with these, and yeah. The latch hook rugs, oh my god. I got 3/4 of the way done with it when I just, like, got this random wild hair up my ass of, hey, let's figure out how to latch hook. For no apparent reason. Just because I can. So I went out, and I got a kit, and I did most of it. It's pretty easy. It's not like it's even hard. Sitting there and did most of it. Saw something shiny, got distracted, never got back to it. And I, like, got, all the supplies to do a second one, even though I didn't finish the first one. And, yeah, never even got that one started, because I wanted to finish the first one first, which is just like a tie-dye swirl, and it's really cool. Whereas the second one, probably not even gonna keep it. I'm probably gonna, like, offer it up and sell it to whoever wants it. But I was gonna, like, just to see if in converting one of my cross-stitch patterns over into a latch hook pattern, if it would even work, how much it would work, if at all. So I figured I'd do like the Liza logo, because I know a lot of Liza fans. I figure I can sell that baby off pretty easy without problem. Hopefully. Of course, because I go and assume that watch it like not have anybody want it, but yeah, that's and the painting supplies I need to use up even though I really can't paint. Yeah, that. The last time I bought painting supplies, this went very badly because I didn't know that even if you don't break the factory seal on the paints, they can dry out. Oh my gosh, I put so much money into like this big expensive set of acrylic paints, right? They sat in my closet for several years before I ever got around to feeling like I was brave enough to try using them, and I found every single one of them had hardened into a rock. Completely unusable. That pisses me off. I more recently like bought some little bottles. They're only like maybe this tall. They're only like a couple ounces in each of them. They're like the really cheap ones you can get for like $1 or $2 at most places, but Joann's has them for like 40 cents a bottle, like on a sale day. So I just like get them whenever they're on sale. I grab a couple and I'm like building an arsenal. But yeah, I've got like these paints and I've got canvases, I've got paint paper, my paintbrushes. I just have to sit down and start using them. Because as long as they're getting used and like mixed up and stuff, they won't harden, so they'll be okay. And I've like offered them around to the other people in my house. If they want to use them, feel free to help yourselves to my paints. I mean, most of my craft supplies, I'm a butt and I won't share, but those I will share because I would much rather taking the risk of them using them all up on me than having them just sit there and harden and nobody getting to use them. Because that pissed me off last time, and I don't want that to happen again. But, ideally, I want to, like, see if I can maybe get at least semi-decent at painting. I did a kind of sort of cool one of Paul in Yellow Submarine, I guess several years ago now. I'm old, that was like 2007, oh shit. Yeah, I did one of those, and I did one of Musette from Gay Paris that turned out really well. Actually, I'm very proud of that one still. And most recently I did one of some dolphins. Just randomly, because dolphins are cool. And actually that one probably is the best thing I've ever painted. I may have cheated a little bit and traced to get the design on there in the first place, but it doesn't really matter because I still painted it. And that's the part that matters, not the drawing part. It's the painting part that matters, so whatever. So there's that. I just need to figure out what the hell else to paint now before my paints dry up, so. Anyway, that's enough of the unfinished projects list. I've got more on there, but I think you guys are getting bored, so. Likewise, even though I have all these projects that I still need to do, the next item on my list is to do new projects and learn more new techniques. Because I would get very bored if I stuck just to finishing ones that are unfinished, and that would suck. So yeah, no, I like to keep things fresh and keep things new. So I mean, on that token, this is probably why I don't finish everything usually, but doesn't matter. List more items in the shop with more regularity. Yeah, that one I have to really get on because I've been bad about that lately. I haven't gotten that many things put in there. When I was adding things to my shop like every few days, imagine that, every few days people were buying things. When now it's like, the last time I listed a cross-stitch pattern was months and months ago. Yeah, hardly get any orders for those at this point because the only time people see them is when I have to go back and renew the listings, or when I like list one of my handmade items in there and people just happen to cruise through the shop and see something cool and they get one of the patterns that way. But yeah, I have to like start making a point of more regularly making and listing patterns. It's gotten hard now because the program's on my old computer, as is the Adobe PDF Maker thing, so I still have to use the old computer for that. Otherwise I would probably just do it all the time on here. So I think it was around the time that I got this computer that I stopped really getting around to making those because it's a pain in the butt to have to go boot up the other one just for that. but since it's one of my sole means of income, I kind of really need to get on that. But in addition to those, I have to start making more handmade items too. So there's a good mixture of both digital and physical tangible items to buy, because the tangible ones I get more money for, so that is a good thing. And some people don't or can't justify buying a digital item with real money, which I understand that logic. It's like the whole apps thing with the in-game purchases and not being able to justify spending money on pixels. I get it, but yeah, it's why I also am trying to make a point of also doing tangible stuff, because also, if I have enough tangible items, I could eventually have enough of an inventory to, like, rent a booth at the Fall Festival this year and try my hand at selling items there. I could, like, try the craft fair circuit. I mean, the possibilities are pretty endless. I just need to have enough items to be able to do that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. It's also why I'm trying to get faster crocheting, because I know baby blankets, like, a lot of people go to Etsy to buy handmade baby blankets instead of just store-bought ones because they mean more to people when they're handmade. But if they don't have the skills to make them themselves, they just need somebody else to make them for them. And that's even like what my, the commission blanket I'm doing right now is. One of my friends was looking for somebody to make a baby blanket for her aunt and uncle's new baby, and she wanted somebody that she trusted to make it, so she came to me, and I was, like, extremely honored that I was the one she picked for it. I'm still really honored over that. So I'm making a point of doing it really, really well. I always do them really well, but especially well for this one. But the knitted ones, they take longer than the crocheted ones do, but the knitted ones look nicer. But just for the sake of getting stuff in the shop in the first place, I figure I can at least start with the crocheted ones and get those in there so there's something in the meantime, and then work on getting some... Well, actually, I can probably, like, have the knitted ones be made to order so people can pick out their own color schemes, because if I pick them for them and then they don't like them, then nobody's gonna get them. But if they pick them themselves, then I just get whatever colors they need and go from there. So, there's that. This goes along with the last one, trying to earn more money this year, which the past few years I've been doing a good job at that. It's gone considerably up each year the past several years, and as long as it keeps going on that up incline, then I'm doing good. As long as it doesn't start going down. The down would be bad, but as long as it's up, then I'm good. This one. Make time to play guitar at least 20 or 30 minutes every day. I haven't done it yet this year, but again, this is why I like just having it be a goal on a list and not an actual resolution. Because if it's a resolution and I don't do it one day, I feel like I failed and then I just bail on the whole idea and don't even try again. Whereas if it's a goal, it's something you're working towards and striving towards, and you can work at all year. Even if, like, you miss some days, it doesn't matter, you can still work towards it as a goal. So that's, like, why I prefer looking at it as goals. But, yeah. January 1st, obviously there was the thing with my grandpa. That's why it didn't happen that night, and then last night I fell asleep too early because I was figuring how this would pan out would be make a point after dinner each night and have that be my designated guitar time. Because I really need to get back into playing guitar again, because I was actually pretty decent at it at one point, and then when I stopped really bothering, funny thing, you try and pick it up one day and you find you really suck now. So I'm like, if I could just get back into it and find my groove again and get kind of decent at it, then that would be good, because I miss it really badly, actually. And yeah, so I mean, it'd be a really lofty goal to try and get back into piano too at the same time, but I figure pick your battles. I'll do guitar first. I was better at guitar than piano anyway, so I'll go with guitar. Eventually, whenever I get my actual piano in here, then I'll worry about piano, but for now, just guitar. Maybe tonight will be the first night I actually get to work on it, because if I can get good enough at it again, this time around, I can do YouTube videos of me playing guitar, whereas last time that I was even decent at playing guitar, there was no YouTube yet. It didn't exist. So, I mean, pretty much unless you knew me in person, you didn't get to see me play guitar when I was still good at it. The one guitar video I have on here sucks, okay? I'm the first one to admit it. That was what happens when you don't touch a guitar for fucking years, and then you pick it up one day and try and play. You suck at it. So, I mean, I don't like thinking of myself being a sucky guitar player. I want to be good again, so the only way to get good is to work at it. And even if you just work at it a little bit every day, that's something, and it builds up after time, and you get better at it. So, there's that. My only concern at this point is that I wasn't a crafter yet when I was good at it before, and the calluses on my fingers didn't matter then. Now, if they're rough calluses, that's gonna be a problem because that's gonna catch on my yarn, so hopefully I can just, like, moisturize a lot and smooth out the calluses so it doesn't catch on anything. But anyway, likewise, in the carving out time every day thing, I need to draw more, because that's another thing that I used to be decent at. I was never, like, really, really good or anything, but I mean, I was pretty decent at one point. And then I just kind of stopped doing it, and I'm not sure why. But I used to draw every single day. Even if it was shitty little doodles, I did it every day. And now I barely ever draw. And that makes me sad. Especially because, like, a while back I started doing, like, the Arthur, like, the movie Arthur, not the cartoon Arthur. I did, like, comic strips of it. And I was thinking I was eventually going to illustrate the entire movie that way. I think I got 3, maybe 4 of them done in several years' time. That's lame. I want to finish those. And then I want to go in, and I want to go and do the second movie. And then when I finish that, maybe do other movies too. But basically, bottom line, I need to get back into drawing every day. Even if I don't show it to anybody, even if it comes out shitty, I just need to do it every day. Bottom line. So, there's that, which admittedly I haven't done yet either. But this is goals, these are things I'm going to work towards, so. Then there's also writing more. That one, I figure, probably won't happen every single day. Just because writer's block is a thing, and it's not realistic to expect that every single day I'm gonna have something worth writing. But I want to make a point of, if nothing else, at least once a week, maybe on the weekends or something, make a point of writing something. I don't care if it's a blog post, I don't care if I'm following a writing prompt, I don't care. Just something to get back into the habit of writing. Because the last few years with NaNoWriMo, I have failed so hard at it and felt like I don't remember how to write. Oh my god, at one point, writing was like the biggest part of my identity was writing. Because I figured someday I was going to do that professionally. And if I feel like I almost don't even know how to do it anymore, there is a problem here, and I'm going to fix that problem by doing it again. And hopefully getting good at it again. Because that really scared me when I came to that realization of, I don't feel like I remember how to do it. And no, I'm gonna fix that. So, turn the page over. This one's probably one of the easier goals, but take more photos. I know some of you that have, like, seen my Instagram or seen my Facebook are like, Jennifer, you do not need to take more photos, but if you guys knew me back in, like, the early to mid-2000s, you knew that I took buttloads and buttloads and buttloads of pictures, like, daily. Even of just weird random shit, just ways of, like, the light hitting things being cool, or something having a cool texture. Didn't matter. If I liked it, I took a picture of it. And now it seems like, if I'm lucky, maybe I'll take a picture every few days at best. At worst, maybe once every, like, month or two. No, that's lame. I want to get back into doing it daily. So I've got, like, all those picture-a-day prompts, and while I don't think I can do all of them, and they probably won't happen the days that they're intended for, they at least give me something in my mind to think of when I'm looking around trying to think of things to take pictures of, then I've got inspiration to know what I'm looking out for to try and find something to fit the bill, you know what I mean? So, yeah, a lot of them will probably be stupid, but I don't care, because I'll be taking pictures, and that was the goal, was to take more pictures. So, because for as many crappy pictures as there are, there's usually that one really amazing photo in the bunch that stands apart from all the rest, that might have turned out intentionally, might have been a complete accident, but regardless, it turned out amazingly. And it's for those pictures that it makes all the crappy ones worth it, in my eyes anyway. So, try to keep up with the Facebook movie challenge. Okay, this is a thing that, like, my friends and I have done, like, since 2010, 2009, somewhere around there. Basically, you make a folder on Facebook, and every time you watch a movie, during whatever given year it is, you put either the movie poster up for it, or like the DVD cover, or whatnot, something from that movie that has like the title and stuff on it. And you do that all year. Usually most people forget at some point during the year and they kind of just bail on it. That was me the first several times, but last year was the first time I think I actually kept up all year. And found out that I watched a whole shit ton of movies. I watched almost 300 last year. But, yeah, but I guess that's not as many as I used to watch, because there was one point, one of the years that I bailed halfway through, I had over 300, and it was only, like, August by the time I bailed on it, so... yeah, there's that. But I mean, that one is just because it's an every year goal, because my friends and I always do this one, so it's still a goal. And on that same note, work my way through all the backlogged DVR stuff. Okay, so it is impossible to ever get 100% of the way through it because I'm like constantly recording more stuff onto it. But I have this backlog of stuff on the DVR, like probably 90% of the stuff on our DVR is my backlogged stuff I've taped but not gotten around to yet. I have stuff all the way back from like last February. And everyone else in the house is pissed that I, like, hog all the space on there for this old-ass shit that I haven't gotten around to, so... Usually it's during the morning hours that I get around to watching stuff, because I do it while I work on my data entry stuff, because it makes the hours go by a hell of a lot faster, so, I mean, I just have to keep doing that, because I found at least if I do a few a day, that it does chip away at it. Whereas if I skip days, that's when stuff backlogs and I don't catch up, so I can barrel my way through it, I'm pretty sure. So, there's that. This one should make you guys happy. Aim for as many vlogs or daily blogs close to it as possible. Yeah, I know I skipped the past 2 days, but I got one today, and I even flat out said it probably won't happen daily. Ideally, it would be daily, but in reality, it probably won't actually be daily, but it'll be something close to it anyway. If it's not daily, it'll probably be every other day or every few days, but I'm gonna aim for as many as possible, because there was like those 2 years that I didn't even touch YouTube at all, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of miss it, so lately I've been trying to make a point of it anyway, but yeah, now I'm really, like, stoked to try and do it. Even though I usually don't have anything to talk about, as you guys know. But, I'm always up for suggestions of stuff to talk about. Already talked about this one here, but I need to get that craft blog up and running, because I still haven't done that yet. I wanted to do it on the first day of the new year, but, you know, the only thing that kept me from it was realizing I don't have a name for it. Because you have to set it up by name and URL first. And I got stuck because I couldn't think of a name. So, yeah, once I think of a name, I guess I'll get it up and running, but for now, unless I want it to be like a really lame, shitty-ass name, I kinda need that part first, then I can work on everything else. Make more tutorial videos and other series videos. Yes, this, I mean, I was trying to do, like, all those crochet tutorial videos, and then I kind of just stopped. I don't know why. I need to, like, do those again. That might be another of those things that, it won't be daily, but I might be able to do them weekly. And same for the other series, there was like the Gen Answers ones, and the High School for Newbies one, and there was, I think, one other one. I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, I would like to ideally get back to making more of those. I don't know with what form of regularity I can do. I can try my best, but until I start doing it, I won't know what's realistic for my schedule. So there's that, and just coming up with inspiration for what should even be in them is my other hard part, because I don't know what people want to see unless people tell me. So when people tell me what they're looking for, I always jump right on it and do it. But if I don't know what you guys are looking for, that's when I tend to go forever without making anything, because I don't know what you guys want. So tell me what should come next in any of those, and I'll work with that. So there's that. And obviously the more singing videos whenever I figure out the whole sound situation, but we've been over that. Work more on Cabaret 54. Oh my gosh, that one is another one that should be at like the top of this list. I put like $200 a year into my web hosting, and yet I updated it maybe like 3 times last year. What the hell? Yeah, I need to get some serious work done there, because I need that to be a big resource, because there's like basically no Liza fan sites out there, and that sucks. So I figured I'm going to take it upon myself to build one. But again, it's a matter of sitting down and doing it. And I had started to, and I was doing really good last year with it, and then I got distracted and kind of didn't get back around to it. And I had started to, again, and that was when my grandma died. And that seemed to really derail a lot of things last year. So yeah, I'm still putting the pieces back together as we speak, bit by bit. So, because that was a big deal. I know for a lot of you it may not be a big deal, because you may not have been as close with yours, but I was extremely close with mine. So it's an entirely different thing when you're really, really close. But yeah, I know what I want to do on that side. I just need to sit down and do the research necessary and put the work in necessary for it and just do it. So I probably have to figure out some sort of schedule necessary for it. Again, until I sit down and start doing it, I'm not sure what the schedule will be for it. So, oh yeah, and update my other blogs. I should have, like, put this list in some sort of, like, sensical order, but I just kind of brainstormed, so. But, update the other blogs more regularly, too. Because I've got so many blogs that just don't get updated. It's ridiculous. I've got the writing prompts one, I've got the video game review one, I've got the book review one, which is probably the only one I actually still update regularly, but still. I've got so freaking many of them that it's ridiculous, and I need to get back on that. Because I don't like just knowing that they're sitting there doing nothing. I mean, yeah, they have low readership, but you know why they have low readership? Because I'm not updating them. If I updated them, that's how you get views. So, yeah, I gotta get back on that. That all ties in with the writing more regularly thing, though, so I mean, at least some of my goals all tie into each other and help each other. Get back into the daily reading habit. Oh my gosh. That one, for me, is crucial, because I go to the library and I get big-ass stacks of books. But lately, I haven't been even getting through even, like, half of the ones I've been bringing home, and that makes me really sad. Like, it used to be I could read a book in, like, a day or two. But I had to work up to that point. Then I kind of stopped doing it, and I really didn't have a good excuse for why that happened. But, yeah. So I might not get back to the speed I was at, but even if I could just, like, designate a certain number of pages per day, something like maybe 90 pages a day, 100 pages a day, something like that, it'd be good. I mean, currently, I'm reading one of Miss Ellen's books, so that is wonderful, but I still have a big old bag of library books that I've only read this and one other book. I'm already at, like, nearly the end of the first renewal period, so I need to haul ass chop chop and get on those books. I mean, in this particular bag, I've got mostly, don't laugh at me, chicken soup for the soul books, because currently I feel like I need them right now with everything that's going on in my life, but I've got some other ones. I've got some Ellen, as you saw, I've got that one, I've got one other one. I've got a Chelsea Handler book in there, I've got all sorts of random crap in there, but like the majority of that bag in reality is chicken soup for the soul books. But if you look at a list of how many of those books there is hundreds of them. And like, I set this really unrealistic goal when I was like 12 years old to read the entire series. It clearly hasn't happened yet, but I've slowly worked at it, but as I work at it they release more of them, so it makes this a really hard goal to do. But yeah, so yeah, daily reading needs to happen. Take vitamins every day. Enough said. I've been good on that one. Exercise. Haven't been so good on that one. Haven't done it at all actually in months. But yeah, I should get back into some regularity. Drink at least 1 bottle of water and 1 cup of tea daily to at least try and slowly up my water intake, because last year it seemed like I didn't ingest anything except for soda and coffee all fucking year. I'm not even joking, which is ridiculous. I say as I drink my coffee, but ideally, yeah, I'm aiming for more water than just 1 bottle of water and 1 cup of tea a day, but I figure if nothing else, bare minimum, get that in there because it's better than nothing. So, but yeah, I think I did 2 bottles of water yesterday plus the cup of tea, so it's a start. I mean, these things don't happen overnight. I honestly don't drink a whole ton anyway. Could be why I'm constantly dehydrated, but yeah, but I'm not giving up my caffeine, just so we're clear, before anybody says it. I don't care how unhealthy it is. Sort all the beads. Oh my gosh. So, in with the perler beads thing. I have got 4 jugs of the 22,000 bead things, but they're the sorted beads, and you have to hand sort those. That's why they're cheap, is because you have to sort them. If you buy the individual colors, it's like $3 per bag of each color for like 1,000 beads. It's impractical to do it that way. I only do that for special colors that they don't sell in the jugs. So yeah, I actually have been working on sorting the beads because they've been sitting around, just sitting there untouched for freaking forever, and they need to get sorted so I can actually start using them. Because it doesn't do me much good to know they're there but not be able to use them. So yeah, I started that. They're in this big freaking tub on my floor. Yeah, another thing on my floor that I need to get around to fixing so I can reclaim my floor space. But like, different people sort them differently. Some people have like little cubby holders for them. Yeah, that shit doesn't fly for me because I have too many beads. So I've got like Ziploc baggies for each color, and some of those are almost all the way full. So I may now need to like start designating multiple baggies per color. It's mostly the primary colors that I have like a ton of, because it seems like the jugs have like tons of the primary colors, but like the secondary colors like pastels and things and the tonal things, the ones that you actually need, they're the ones that they don't sell many of. And I know they do it on purpose so you'll buy the individual bags of those, and it's shitty, but this is why I bought multiples of the jugs, thinking I'd just get more of them that way, and ultimately it'd be cheaper. But I'm an idiot. I didn't think this through, because I always tend to forget about the whole fact that if I get the jugs, I'm gonna have to sit there and sort them by hand, one by one, and 22,000 beads is a lot of beads. And what's more beads than 22,000 beads? 88,000 beads. I'm gonna be working on this for a while, basically, but hey, it gives me something to do while I'm watching my DVR and stuff. Yeah, so I need to do that. Mostly because I need to reclaim the closet space that those jugs are taking up. Because at least in the bags, I'm putting those on a shelf, but when they're in the jugs, they're just on the floor of my closet, and I really need that space back. So, there's that. That is about as much of this list as I'm gonna read to you guys, because we're already at the 1 hour mark, and I'm sure nobody's even still watching this. So, anyways, I got another message on Facebook asking about how I got into the music that I listened to and how it's evolved over the years. So, actually, I love talking about this particular topic a lot. So, okay. Probably all starts out with the Beatles, and there's literally never a time in my life that they weren't in my life. My mom was a major, major fan, to the point where, like, she did the whole headphones on the stomach thing when she was pregnant with me. She gave me my middle name after one of their songs. She played their music to me. My lullabies as a little kid, as a baby, were Beatles songs. Everything was always Beatles related. And I thank her so much for that. Because I hate to think what crappy-ass music I would be into if it hadn't been for that. I don't listen to modern music, so yeah, I shudder to think of what I'd be like if it hadn't been for that. So, I mean, like, my earliest memories were watching things like the Beatles cartoon series, and Yellow Submarine, and the Beatle movies, and stuff like that. Stuff that, like, normal little kids don't even know exist, but for me, they were, like, my favorite things in the world, and I, like, didn't even watch normal little kid stuffs, because it, like, did not even stack up to this, so I didn't give a shit that it existed. I just wanted Beatles stuff. I didn't want anything except Beatles stuff, actually. Till I was about 3. And then someone else came on the scene that is still in my life. I apparently saw The Wizard of Oz for the first time, and it started my Judy Garland obsession big time. Oh my gosh. I cannot even begin to tell you. I pretty much decided at that point I wanted to be Judy Garland. I wanted, like, the whole 9 yards. I didn't care what bad stuff she did in her life. I wanted to be her. So, I mean, I would, like, put on these sparkly dresses and have my mom curl my hair like hers in, like, the 1930s styles and stuff. And I would sing her songs, and I would watch her movies. My grandpa was, like, the biggest proponent of, once he found out how into Oz I was, he started showing me, like, the other early Judy Garland movies from around the same era, thinking that I'd be, like, totally into those too, which, while I was, I don't think I put the 2 and 2 together that they were the same person, that Judy was also the person in this movie. I don't think I made that mental connection quite yet as a toddler. As I got older, I did, but as a toddler, not so much. But I loved them too, and likewise, it also sparked off my love of other music and actors from that era, like the Rat Pack, and Fred Astaire, and Gene Kelly, other things that have followed me throughout my entire life, and I still love possibly more than just about anything else. So, again, I can't think of what my life would possibly be like if it hadn't been for that, because then I'd probably be watching shitty current movies if it weren't for my love of classic films, because I only watch classic films pretty much. Every once in a while, somebody will force me to sit through a modern one, and I pretty much sleep through it because I can't stand modern. I was totally born into the wrong era. But, yeah, so basically, my entire life was the Beatles, and Judy, and Frank, and Dean, and Sammy, and Gene, and Fred, and all that sort of stuff. Exclusively. Until I hit about, I want to say maybe 12. And somewhere in there, I remember it was right around the time we did one of those walking tours of Hollywood. We even got to walk through one of Judy's houses that she had lived in, which, man, I wish I could go through it again now that I'm also into Liza and realizing this was the first house she lived in. I'd, like, get a whole new view on this now and the things they were telling us, but regardless, so, right around that time, right after that, I think is when just general, widespread, classic rock kind of took hold, because until that point it was limited to just the Beatles and just the solo Beatles and nothing else. Anything else music-wise, I didn't care unless it was Judy or the Rat Pack. Did not care. It did not exist to me. I just, yeah, blocked it out. Didn't care. Until I hit 12. Because I think that's when I discovered The Who. My cousin somehow got her hands on a copy of Tommy, and for some reason she thought one of the Uncle Ernie songs, I think it was Tommy's Holiday Camp actually, she thought it was like the funniest thing she'd ever heard. And we still talked on the phone every single day at that point, because I was a loser and my cousin was my only friend at that point. I pretty much didn't have friends growing up except for my family, so not that much different from now really, but yeah. So we talked on the phone every day back then, and she was playing me the song, and we both thought it was the most hysterical thing ever, and became like this thing where just like randomly during our phone calls, she would just turn that song on with no warning, and we'd both crack up. And I eventually like asked her what album that even was, and she like went and looked, and it wasn't even on the disc, weirdly. I don't know what version she had, but yeah, because I've seen the CD in question, and it's different from the ones I have, but, and I've got 2 or 3 different versions of Tommy, and none of them look like the one she's got, but yeah. Anyway, so she eventually finds out what it was, and I just kind of made a mental note of it, didn't really think about it too much. And I went to Rasputin Records store not long after that, as I so often did in my hunts for all things Beatley. And just on a whim, I went and looked for the album, and sure enough, I found the album. And my dad bought it for me because he thought it was great that I finally had an interest in something other than just the Beatles, because he'd been telling me my whole life how I needed to expand my musical horizons. So I was like, okay, I got it. And I listened to it, and I thought it was pretty cool. But it mostly just sat on a shelf for a while. And then one day, I don't know, not that long after that, I had to go to the dentist for something. I was pretty doped up on whatever they gave me, but I came home and was clicking through channels and found Tommy, the movie, on. And I was like, couldn't possibly be that Tommy, could it? That wasn't a movie, that was an album. Oh yes, it can and was that Tommy. So I sat there and I watched it and just was all sorts of tripped out on it that this existed, and thought it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen, and practically had a religious experience over it. But yeah, I have gotten way more out of The Who's Tommy than a normal person should. That's all I'm saying there. But basically just from seeing it that one time was enough to spark a full-on, flat-out obsession with The Who that never went away. So, I mean, after that, a lot of the Judy stuff and the old school music and Hollywood stuff kind of faded as I got into The Who more, and then in, like, I think my uncle hooked me up with The Kids Are Alright, and I found out Ringo was in it, and of course, anything that fandom collides with my other obsessions makes me love it that much harder. So now it had a Beatle connection, so now it's like, okay, these guys are hardcore locked in for life in my heart, as far as I'm concerned, after finding that out. Then the more I learned, I found out Keith and Ringo were like best friends, so I was like, oh my god, I love this so much. And so I got more and more and more and more and more into them, to like crazy fucking extremes. Suddenly I didn't want to be Judy Garland anymore, I wanted to be Keith Moon, and that's probably not a good thing for a young teenager to aspire to be, because it kind of sparked my drinking problem. So there was that. And from there, somewhere, well, let me backtrack a little. In trying to find Who websites online, I mean, Beatles websites were pretty easy to come by this point, but Who websites were like, you basically did not find them. There was maybe 4 or 5 that I knew of, and that was it. the most prevalent one that I knew of. I'm still friends with the girl that ran that site, and I'm still very proud of that. But it seemed like all the people I knew who were Beatles fans, who were also Who fans, also happened to be fans of the Monkees. And I wasn't sure what this connection was exactly, but I noticed it happening over and over and over again. I wasn't sure what the draw was, given that I, up to that point, had thought the Monkees were nothing but a Beatles ripoff. Granted, I had never given them a chance. My only knowledge of the Monkees was just what I had heard through hearsay, and I think I had heard, like, I'm a Believer, and that was, like, my knowledge of the Monkees. And yet, that said, I remember actually sitting through the original airing of the Sabrina the Teenage Witch episode with Davy Jones on it, and I actually did watch it. I don't think I put two and two together that he was from the Monkees. I just remember watching it, and it was a cute British guy, so hell yeah. But I watched that, and right after it was the 1997 ABC special of the Monkees, and I think I fell asleep during it, but I remember trying to watch it. But yeah, that was like my only real exposure to them up to that point. But it seemed like all my online friends were also Monkees fans. And if they were Beatles fans who were also Who fans, then if they were Beatle and Who fans who were also Monkees fans, maybe I should also be a Monkees fan, or at least give them a shot. So with that in mind, I remember I was clicking through channels and caught it at the very, very, very beginning of an episode once on, like, channel 44 or something. Like, the local stations when we still had the rabbit ears TV stuff. We did not have cable in our old house till I was, like, 14. So, even then we had that, it was only in the front room, so my bedroom still had the rabbit ears. So, anyway, I think I was about 15 or 16 when this happened. Must have been 15. But, I still remember what episode it was, too, is the crazy thing, but it was the One Man Shy episode, Peter and the Debutante. And I watched it, and I freaking fell in love instantly. I was just watching it because I wanted to know what the big deal was for everybody else. I didn't expect to fall head over heels for these guys so instantly, though. It's like suddenly the universe opened up and made sense to me as far as I was concerned. Basically, my original favorite was Peter because of that episode. But it was one of the syndicated episodes, so they had the Forget That Girl song in it, which is the only time it ever appeared on that show was in syndication, and in that episode. And I fell in love with that song, which, now buying the DVDs and finding it not on there made me really sad, but I've got the album with the song, I've got Headquarters, so it doesn't matter. But regardless, I fell totally in love just from one episode. So from there I was hooked, and then I wanted to see more, and it just so happened that that was the year that TV Land was showing the Monkees every weekend. So I would sit down and I would drop everything to go watch them, and was taping the episodes one by one. Like, the first one I caught on TV Land happened to be Your Friendly Neighborhood Kidnappers. And then I switched from Peter being my favorite to Mickey being my favorite as of that episode, because for some reason he reminded me of Keith Moon with the zany antics, plus, you know, the whole drummer thing. So that just, I thought I liked Mickey. The next episode that was on was The Spy Who Came In From the Cool. And, oh my gosh, now not only do we have these awesome guys that I've totally fallen in love with, but now we've got Russians too, oh my god! Which, I have a thing for Russian accents, but we're not gonna go there, but, so... yeah, so I loved him that much more for that episode. And then the one that was the turning point of no return and turned me into a Davy Jones fan forever. The Success Story episode was the next one that aired. There was no turning back as of that point. I was a Davy fan through and through, and have never swayed my judgment ever since that. Which really shouldn't surprise me, because typically anybody who's British I instantly love, so I don't know why he wasn't just the first favorite, but it is what it is. It took 3 episodes for me to fall for him, but oh my gosh, I remember crying so hard during that episode, and even to this day I can't watch it without tearing up, and especially now that he's passed on, that whole goodbye scene just hits that much harder now than it already did, and oh my gosh, I cannot watch it without just sobbing like a frigging baby. Holy crap. But yeah, that was another one of the syndicated ones. They had Shades of Grey in that episode, which, again, isn't on the DVDs, but you can find it on YouTube with that song instead of the DVD one, which had I Want to Be Free, which is still hard. Not quite as hard as Shades of Grey, but still hard to watch. I remember they showed it when I went and saw the Monkees in 2012. They did their Davy tribute, and it was the I Want to Be Free scene, and oh my god, I had no warning that that was even in the show, and I freaking lost it. Julie had to hold me. I just, like, totally knelt down, because I was assuming I was going to lose it during the Daddy song thing. Oh no, no. It happened during I Want to Be Free, and it's a good thing I wore waterproof eye makeup, because I just sobbed. Holy hell, and I'm sure I wasn't the only one either, but yeah, it's still hard to watch and hard to process, but yeah, after that I was just like hardcore Monkees fan to the point where I was almost feeling like I may even, dare I say it, I might possibly love them more than the Beatles, as sacrilege as that is to say. I mean, I'm not sure I'd say it now, but back at the height of my obsession, I'm pretty sure I would have said it. Now they're about tied, but back when it was all shiny and new, yeah, I think they kind of took over as number 1, but whatever my newest one is, always tends to take over as number 1. But, the thing about me is once I'm obsessed with something, it never goes away. Never. So if there's like a casual thing I listen to musically, I may outgrow that, but if I hit the point of obsession, it's in my life for good. So, yeah. So the Monkees hit like a freaking typhoon on my life. Oh my god, they made me do crazy things that most sane people wouldn't do. We're not gonna talk about them here, but yeah, it was crazy. And then shortly after the Monkees obsession hit, when I went and saw Davy Jones, there was a part during his show where he impersonated Dudley Moore as Arthur. Now, everything, I am talking about everything in my life, always seems to stem back to something earlier in my life. Always. Everything is cyclical. And when he did the Arthur thing, I remembered this day I was at my cousin's house when I was about 15, and my uncle had tried to sit me down to get me to watch Arthur. But being 15, I was a moody little shithead and was like, fuck that, we're watching the Beatles, yeah, screw you. He was like, but it's totally your speed, you would love it. And I was like, yeah, go away. But yeah, I was a rude little thing, and clearly he knew what he was talking about, and I did not. Because Dudley Moore was the next obsession. Soon as I saw that, it was all over. It was not just one obsession, it became 2 obsessions. But I knew it was just weird. After I saw Davy, and there was that Arthur impression, I pretty much was hell-bent on finding myself a copy of Arthur. So we went to probably Hollywood Video, I don't know, Blockbuster, one of those stores that's defunct now. But we got a copy of Arthur, and my dad had the foresight to burn me a copy on DVD. I still have that copy. I still don't own a legit copy of Arthur. I still have my burned copy. But, Yeah, I shouldn't be admitting that. But, so, pretty much all it took was hearing the theme song, like maybe 30 seconds into the movie, and I had already decided that I was in love with this guy's laugh, and that this was the most beautiful song I'd ever heard in my life. And to this day, I still stand by that. If I ever get married, it's probably going to be my first dance song. And anybody who disputes that is somebody that I don't want to marry, so, yeah, it means that much to me. It would be a flat-out fucking deal breaker. Not even joking. Yeah, I am that petty about things, but, anyway, so I fell instantly in love with Dudley Moore because he reminded me of a split between if you crossed Keith Moon with Davy Jones, you would get this guy. Holy crap! So we're taking two of my favorites and mashing them into one, and now we have like this super dude over here who's just, he's so fucking cool. And oh my gosh, and then fell down the rabbit hole into Dudley Moore movies and his music and everything, and to this day he is still my favorite of like everything. And what I didn't see coming was the sudden obsession with Liza Minnelli that also stemmed from that movie. That one didn't happen as instantaneously. I thought she was gorgeous, probably only because she falls into my type. It seems like anyone I've ever been attracted to, I think I may have a hair fetish, but they all seem to have the same haircut. They have dark hair and dark eyes, which are also somewhat large eyes, and I seem to have this type for them. So, yeah, she fell right into that type. And I knew I had a crush, but it wasn't full-out obsession level yet. The odd thing is that it was almost like a joke that it started. It was kind of like when I started liking the Bee Gees. I got a CD and there's just this joke. It's like, ha, the Bee Gees, nobody likes the Bee Gees, let's listen to the Bee Gees. And the next thing I know, I fucking love the Bee Gees. I mean, not to obsession level, but I admit I do like them a lot. But, yeah, so with Liza, I remember hearing her name in the South Park movie. It was like that thing with like, Saddam Hussein and Satan in hell, and it was just like, Saddam, do you ever imagine I'm somebody else in bed? And he was like, Satan, your ass is big and red. Who am I gonna imagine you are, Liza Minnelli? And I remembered that line, and I couldn't, like, quite figure out what that even meant, because I was like, I saw Arthur, I've seen Liza, she doesn't have a big red ass, does she? And I was like trying to figure out, what does that line even mean? And it like perplexed me, and I was like, is there something I don't know about? So I instantly googled, what is the most famous thing Liza was ever in? And obviously it came up with Cabaret. So without giving it another thought, I ordered myself a copy of Cabaret. The rest is history. But all it took was seeing the mine hair thing. Oh my god. Yeah, it sparked obsession right there. I fell totally head over heels in love with Liza. Now, what I had not put two and two together on by this point was that Liza Minnelli was Judy's Liza. I mean, I knew that Judy had a daughter who was named Liza, but it didn't instantly click that it was that Liza, and that this is why I'm so naturally drawn to her. It's Judy's kid, one of my earliest obsessions, and now it's coming back in another generation, and oh my god, it makes so much sense. But it took me a while to figure this out. It was like, I think I was watching Arthur one day, and I looked away for something, I forget what it was, but Liza was talking, and I was like, hey Dad, you know what? It's weird. And he was like, no, what? And I was like, if you don't look at Liza when she's talking, you know who she sounds like? And he was like, I don't know who. I was like, she sounds like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. Isn't that weird? And my dad just crossed his arms and he stared at me for a minute, just gave me this look, and I was like, what? He's like, you don't know who she is? And I was like, she's Liza Minnelli. And she's like, no. You don't know who her mom is? You should know who her mom, you, of all people, should know who her mom is. And I was like, I don't know who. She's like, Judy Garland. I was like, nuh-uh. You lying sack of crap. Nuh-uh. I was into Judy, remember? She doesn't have a... And then, like, right as the words started to come out of my mouth, I was like, wait a minute. Yes, she did have a daughter named Liza, and holy crap! So obviously, like, I went and I googled this, like, instantly. I was like, who is Liza Minnelli's mother? And sure enough, came up as Judy Garland, because that's who her mom is. And I was like, mind blown! Oh my god! Like, just, for as much as I laugh at, like, the fact that you search Liza's name on Twitter on any given day, doesn't matter what day it is, you will always come up with, like, at least a dozen people having that same realization any given day. And yet, I can laugh at them, but I totally had that same moment myself, so I really shouldn't laugh, but it's totally just one of those things that as soon as I realized it, I was like, oh my god, it's so obvious! Why didn't this dawn on me sooner? Oh my god! No wonder I just am drawn to her. I mean, she even looks a little like her. Yeah, it blew my mind. It tripped me out so much. And as soon as I had that realization, naturally this brought me back to Judy again. And I brought all my Judy stuff back out for the first time in probably the better part of 10 years, and started watching them again, and re-fell in love with Judy all over again, but on a new adult level now. Because now I understood all the context of these movies that I watched when I was little, and now I could watch the other ones that I never got to see the first time around, and through that I started discovering other performers and other actors and actresses that I never would have probably discovered otherwise, and I've found them through Dudley that way too. I've found them through Liza that way, but I mean, everything that I ever get into is always connected to something else that I'm into. That's always been the way with me, is that it has to have a connection to something, otherwise I probably won't give it the time of day. Not sure why I am that way, but that's how I am. So, but yeah, that was... This is the evolution of it, but then it gets weirder because Liza, like, apparently knows and or has met freaking everybody. The Beatles included, so this all, like, meshes back into each other. It's like she's met them, she was friends with John and Yoko, I've got pictures of her with Paul, she presented the Tony Award to The Who for the Broadway version of Tommy. She hung out with Keith Moon. There's all sorts of monkeys connections with Liza to a ridiculous degree. She and Mickey Dolenz grew up on the same street. They were both children of MGM. She had a thing for Davy Jones when she was a teenager, and there was a creepy connection between Davy and Judy that I won't go into here. There was all this stuff there. Obviously, there's all the Dudley connections. It just, everything ties back into itself. And, yeah, this seems to be how it always goes for me. With any new obsession, I find the way that it connects to all the other ones that I already have. It's kind of like 6 degrees of separation, when you think about it. But yeah, that's about as far as my music has evolved, really. I mean, there's, like, the lesser interests with music. I mean, once I started getting into The Who, I started giving other things from the same era a chance. Whether or not I ended up liking them were another story, but I would at least give them a chance. Like, I found out I hate Led Zeppelin, because they're, like, the poor man's Roger Daltrey, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Robert Plant's voice. It just bothers me. If it weren't for him, I'd probably be a big fan. I just can't tolerate his voice, though. But I mean, like, I found out I love Eric Clapton, I love Pink Floyd, I love just, like, all this stuff from that era that I never would have given a chance, but once I found out that I loved The Who, I was like, well, what else is out there from that same era that I might also love that I didn't realize that I might be into? And there's so much of it. And just, who the hell needs modern music when you've got all this, right? But yeah. So that's basically the evolution on my musical tastes anyhow, so hopefully that answers your question. If you've got any other questions about anything, or anything that you'd like my takes on, anything at all, let me know, and I'll be happy to do those in the next video. Okay, bye!